Hey, Sanborn community, it's Mr. Stack, your principal here at the high school. It is Tuesday, December 1st, very early in the morning, and I just wanted to make you a quick video update, talk a little bit about why we are remote this week and what this whole idea of contact tracing means. So if you've been following some of the emails that we've gotten from the school district in the last few days, we've had a couple different COVID cases. We had one that we learned about over the weekend during the holiday weekend. So administrators spent some time on Saturday contact tracing and notifying families who were involved. We ended up having another case late on Monday. We haven't actually announced all the details of this yet to the community because we're still in the process of contact tracing it. But the process did necessitate the need for the school district to take some more drastic steps, putting us in remote learning for the week, which really buys my administrative team some time to finish our contact tracing. It also buys us some time as a community to try to put kind of a lid on this COVID uptick that we're seeing right now in our schools, in hopes that if we can do this in the short term, we'll be able to reopen in a few days in a better state to be able to move forward. That's at least the theory that the school board used when they took their vote on Monday night, but that's not really what my video is about. That's their decision to make. You know, in my role as the principal, I often have to live with the decision that is made and help the school move forward and put that decision into action. And really, a lot of it boils back to that contact tracing piece. A number of you have contacted me, just wanting to know a little bit more about it and what it means for you. About 65 or 70 of you have gotten calls from us over the last few days indicating that you or your child is going to need to contact trace. So when we do get a COVID positive case, when we learn about a case, it's generally a parent that gives us a call to say, I was just informed my child tested positive for COVID. We had him tested X number of days ago. And it is taking a little bit of time to get results. But what we do is we have to ask when symptoms started, because when from the test date or when the symptoms started, whichever of those happened first, we have to go back 2 days prior to that, and we have to try to identify any individuals who were what we call close contacts. That means that they spent at least 10 minutes less than 6 feet apart from that individual who had tested positive. Mask or no mask, that doesn't actually matter. So if a student tests positive, for example, that student sits in the same desk every day in each of their classes. We have all those seating charts, but there are probably 5 or 6 students that sit around that student in class, and they are definitely less than 6 feet apart. There's absolutely no way that we could run our school and keep people 6 feet apart if we want to have all of our students back in the building, and that is the decision of the community to do that. So, you know, if the student has 8 different classes and there are 5 or 6 different students in every class that they sit immediately around, you can see how very quickly a COVID case could result in as many as 50 people that have to be considered close contacts. Now, we also look at lunch, although students do sit 6 feet apart at lunch, so generally we're able to rule lunch out. We have to look at how they got to school, whether it was on a bus or in a car. We have to include those conversations. If the student does sports or other clubs, more sports because there aren't that many clubs meeting, we have to take a look at that. So that, you know, the act of contact tracing can take quite some time, and we only have a few hours once we get a case to figure that out. We then have to call every single family to let them know they are considered a close contact and their name is getting submitted on a list to the state, and they'll be hearing from the state, and they will likely be told they're going to be quarantining that individual for 14 days and watching for symptoms. So it's a process. It can take us as many as 4 or 5 hours from the point at which we hear about a COVID case to actually conduct all the contact tracing and make all those initial phone calls home. And that doesn't count all the follow-up calls that'll happen later. So, when we have a case every now and then, it's one thing. When we have multiple cases that stack up on each other, as you can imagine, the issue snowballs, and we quickly reach a point where we have to start saying to ourselves, would it make more sense to be out of school for a little bit just to let things calm down? And that's really exactly what happened these past couple of days between our building and the other schools in the district that had some similar issues going on. So if you do get a call from one of us indicating that your son or daughter, or you, if you're the student watching this video, has to quarantine, we'll usually tell you what date it starts and ends, and that's based on when you had that last contact with that person. So it may be that we're contact tracing and it's already 5 or 6 days after, because that's when the test results came in. So you've actually already been in that danger zone for a period of time, and your 14 days might be diminished. Technically, if you as a student have to quarantine, but you have siblings or parents in the house, they don't also have to quarantine unless you develop symptoms, you get a test, and now you test positive. So of course, and my own children in my school district, we've been in this boat too. We try to take all the precautionary steps as parents just to help, prevent the spread of any kind of a sickness in our house. So just washing hands and, all of those normal things that you would do to try to prevent sickness. Those things still apply. There are reasons why when we're in school every day, we ask people to wear masks. We ask students to assist us with wiping down desks at the end of every class and washing your hands regularly. Custodians are regularly sanitizing what we call the high touch points around the school, like doorknobs and that sort of thing, and that's an ongoing thing. These are all steps that we're putting in place so that while we're in the midst of this pandemic, we can do our best to try to be open as much as possible. Trust me and believe me, we all want the schools open. I want the schools open. I want my own kids to be in school. It's something that's necessary, provided it's safe to do so, and we can handle the logistics from an operational standpoint of doing so. And those two questions are not always easy to answer. So I hope this gives you a little bit of intel into the process that we use when we're making these decisions. I appreciate immensely the work that our superintendent's office does on this and our school board does on this, because our school board often has to make these really difficult decisions, and there's a reason why we have a group of people making a decision like that, so that they can really think through all the facts and help make the right decision. I'm proud of the fact, despite that we're closed this week, that we were able to open at the end of October, and it's been relatively quiet, and I expect it will continue to be so when we're back. So on that note, it's December 1st, it's Tuesday. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I hope you are looking forward to getting back to normal, or I guess our temporary new normal of how we live with the pandemic, but really soon. And have a wonderful rest of your day.